Was it we ain't good, but we still good?
So okay, I'm drawing the line at this. Okay, pick and choose. Either you gonna sting or you gonna give me grandfather clothes, but you ain't gonna do both on this. You ain't gonna do both. You're not gonna show me up like this. Okay, you're gonna end up saying "ouch." I'm just gonna tell you right now. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go, let's go, let's grow, let's grow, let's get it.
What's going on, people? We are Black Dad Unfiltered. It is so great to be here with you again, whether you're watching, whether you're listening. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Carlos V. Spencer.
And it's your boy, Coach Rod. Again, we're here trying to change the narrative and perception of Black men, particularly Black fathers, through authentic conversations. So, Los, what we got on deck for today?
Man, oh, it's good to be a Black father. You know, it's good to be a Black father, man. Let's talk about, since the last time we've been here with our listeners, with our community, with our tribe, just what's been going on with fatherhood with us. And I'll jump right in myself. I had the wonderful opportunity just the other day. My children came in town. So those of you who listen in or watch our show, my children are in Georgia. And so they came in town. And I just purposely, Rod, just told myself, I'm just going to enjoy them and enjoy the space. Mm-hmm. Like we've talked about it in some past episodes, co-parenting, right? Navigating parenting. So there's some things and some challenges going on through the relationship between myself and their mother. It's real. We're unfiltered here. But I told myself once they came in town, I just want to enjoy my children. Like I just want to enjoy them, have a good time with them. So we went out putt-putting. We went out at the same time. We went go-karting. And they had a friend of theirs there with them as well. And we just had a good time, man. Even one of my children, and I won't say the name, who as your children become to be adults, one of my friends said, and he made this statement, that when your children grow up, they're going to find something wrong with what you did, no matter what you did with them while they were growing up. And I found that statement to be true in some of their lives. And so we had some conversations with my children. But even that child, when we got together, it just was a good feel. It was a good feel. It was great energy. It was love. It was smiles. It was laughter, right? It was really pure family. And just like we're changing the narrative here in the show, I guarantee you, I know it. I know it for myself. Being there, those are not the stories that you see or hear about, right? A father out with his children, having a good time, laughing, playing putt-putt, out on a Saturday evening, just enjoying ourselves without any drama. Like that was my week in fatherhood. And anybody who knows me knows that I will take that over anything, like over success, over drive, over goals, over wealth. I'm going after all those things. But moments like that mean the world to me. Man, so that was me for fatherhood, man. I could talk about that for the rest of the show. But I'll cut myself off, man, because I love my children. And I had such a great time with them. I really did, man. How about you?
Listen, this was an interesting week. So, you know, behind the scenes, people don't know. I don't listen to a show after we record it. Never. So I can't listen to myself. I get so excited. I know I'm probably going to say something crazy. I'm probably going to have a crying Jordan meme made of me. So I don't listen. I don't watch. Right. I stay in the moment. But 4th of July, me and my family, we drove out to Jersey to meet with other family, and for the first time, I said, let me play the podcast because I had my girls with me.
Wow.
I said, let me play. I said, do you guys want to hear this? Because again, in my whole world of entrepreneurship, I always try to bring my kids into the loop. And one of the things I want my kids to do is see me fail as well as see me succeed. See me try, right? As well as see me get up. Right. So that when they have their reference points in the future, they're like, well, I've seen what it looks like for a man to keep moving forward. And that's probably one of the biggest lessons I can give them because it's me modeling resilience. So I played it and, you know, my kids are quiet. So a half hour in, I'm not going to lie, I was like, that sounds pretty good. But that's neither here nor there, right?
Yeah, that's here nor there. Yeah.
That's neither here nor there. So I shut it off. Why'd you turn it off? You were listening? Yeah.
Wow.
And in that moment, I was proud. I was just proud because it's like, okay, this is what we talk about, you know, and they're part of this. I always want to make them a part of it. The second piece to this, which was eye-opening to me, piggybacking on some other social. Then once we get to the barbecue, and my son is in doing school summer program at his college. We get there. I told you before, one of my cousins, she's just like, Rod, I love the podcast. I said, you listen? I don't know. No one says anything to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was real hyped that she loved it. I was a little bit salty. She was like, those grandfather quotes. I was like, don't worry. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna come with my own quotes. Trust me. But there was a moment when when they said, "Where's your son?" I said, "Well, he's in school." They're like, "Nah, let that boy enjoy the summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let him enjoy the summer." I said, "No," and it was 3 women around me.
Okay,
let him enjoy the summer. I said, "He got to enjoy some of the summer. He got to enjoy the few weeks in June. Now he's in school." And what I unpacked from that, and I know you listening to this, Miriam, I'm gonna call your name out. What I got from that is the duality again of being a father and a mother. They were right. You let this boy decompress. But as a father, as a man, knowing I gotta raise another man, I said, listen, I gotta put this kid in the best position to succeed for himself.
Yeah.
Right? I can't just worry about nurturing him. I actually have to put him in adverse situations, because this is how you build mental fortitude. This is how you build your life skill sets. And in that moment, what I walked away with was, it wasn't going to matter what I said. They were going to keep saying to me, all right, whatever, but he should still enjoy summer.
Yeah.
But I know in the future, there's going to be a woman that values him because of the skills, the fortitude, the things that make a man a man, his ability to stand firm and endure. Mm-hmm. Right? So these were just some life lessons, but again, it was good to be around the family. For the first time ever, I lit fire. I had never left a firecracker in my life. I was just like, man, listen, I wasn't intending to light firecrackers, but it was just beautiful family. We're just together.
Yeah, that's good.
And I was like, yeah, let me do it. And then I got to do it with my daughter, my youngest. And, again, I'll stop there. That's what really made it so amazing. It's just like, wow. In all my years of existence, these moments still mean the most to me. These moments, they feed the soul, right? And so, again, to me, it was a great weekend, Father. More lessons to be learned. I love what we're doing. I see the impact of what we're doing. I'm encouraged to keep doing it. And again, I want to, take time to, again, thank Miriam and the other women in my family that put a celebration barbecue together for the people that graduated in our family. So again, it's about being a Black man, Black dad, but it doesn't happen without family.
That's dope. Dope time. And I enjoyed the same. Let me give a grandfather quote, since, they listening, right?
Oh,
no?
Yeah.
No?
Go ahead, Los. No, go ahead. What is it now?
Yeah, well, we actually doing this together. But my grandfather said, one monkey don't stop no show unless it's a one monkey show. Right? So the show must
say that again? Slow that down.
One monkey don't stop the show unless it's a one monkey show.
Holy shit. Good Lord. I give up.
Oh, this thing got to keep going, but we are the show together, so we got to keep doing this thing together.
One monkey don't stop the show unless it's a one monkey show.
That's it, man. That's it.
Man, matter of fact, wait a minute, folks. If you like that quote, please hit subscribe right now.
Yes.
We getting close to write this book for sure.
Yo, I'm actually, I started writing it. It's called My Grandfather Said, and every chapter is a saying of his. And I think I started writing 2 chapters already, but I have the chapter titles already. I have the titles for all the chapters. I wrote like the first 2 chapters, but you're right. I got to get on it, man. I'm gonna get to it. This podcast is gonna be a good push for me to go ahead and get that thing done.
Before you finish, I'm already talking to the team. We're gonna work with you, put the book cover together, and first, we're gonna do something special. Like the first 100 people to click, something, we're gonna get them that book for free.
I'm with it.
Right,
we're
gonna get that book out before the year's over, for the holidays.
I love it. I like that. I like that pressure.
Sure,
I said, did he say holidays?
Yeah, we're gonna get it out, Los.
I like that. No, I love it, man. And even just in the vein of what we're doing, Black Dad Unfiltered. Like, my father died at 19. My father was around. Now, I have a lot of friends who never met their fathers. I have friends who lived in the same city with their father and didn't meet their father until they were in their late 20s, right? So I saw my dad on a regular basis, but my dad did die at 19. And so my grandfather was that father figure for myself, for my brothers, for my cousins. Like, we reference him very often. You hear me say it on the show, but if anybody ever hears me speaking anywhere, you're going to hear me say my grandfather said something, just because he was that Black father. He was that Black father figure. He lived it, right? And I was blessed to be able to have that experience, even though, like I said, my father did die at such a young age. I am truly blessed because some people did not have any father figure. I cannot say that I've lived my life without that. And yeah, we're going to get that done. We're going to get that done for sure. This week, one powerful thing that we saw, actually, we're going to talk about it. This thing that we saw, if you saw the BET Awards, Usher had a Lifetime Achievement Award. And if you watched it live, the live show cut out a lot of his speech. Now, there's a lot of, we can talk about a little bit here. There's a lot of people who had different things to say about why they cut it off. One of my brothers, I just went out to eat the other day, and we were talking about it. And I saw it from, for me, a technical aspect. This is just the way I saw it. I'm not saying this is the fact, but this was my opinion. I thought it was an issue. And I did see that BET came out and said that something did happen. While I was watching it real time, I'm like, yo, they blanking out like whole sentences. And then you hear a word, and they're blanking out other stuff. They did start blanking out, like, I think he was cussing. So they started blanking out some of the profanity, right? But after that, it was like, what's going on here? My brother was like, nah, he was talking about Black fathers, and they ain't want people to hear that. That's what my brother said. That was his opinion. I won't say my brother's name. So if you watch the BET Awards, if you watch his speech, you might have missed a lot of it if you saw it live. They have recently put it back up. I know I saw it on YouTube. BET put it on their page where you can hear the entire message. They still cut out the parts where it was some profanity, but you can hear the actual message. So if you're somebody that watched it, I'm like, I don't even know what he's talking about because they blanked out so much of it. I had to go back and watch it, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did, because one of the things that he said that was profound to me was that this is the year of the father, and that meant a lot to me. So we want to cue up this clip. Anything you want to say before we cue the clip up and go ahead and play it through?
Listen, listen to the nuances in this clip. Yeah, really, and it's going to be a short, condensed clip. I think the original clip is 12 minutes long.
Yeah, we'll talk about more of the stuff that was in the original clip too.
Absolutely, but there's a minute of it. Just listen to it, because I'm going to just frame it a little bit. This is someone that's getting an achievement for his life's work. Yeah, and in this moment where you are being recognized for your life,
right?
Ask yourself, why is this the conversation he chose to have?
Let's go.
Let's play this.
Right, that's interesting. That's interesting. I like how you queued that up. Go ahead.
Understand the true pitfalls and hardships of a Black man in America. And my father, he was a product of that. He made a lot of decisions. He made a lot of choices, and the one that probably hurt and helped me at the same time was to stay away. But that's part of the reason why I say this is the year of the father, where all the fathers got to stand up for their sons and daughters and be the man that they need to be for them. They say success has 1 million fathers. Well, I start with these guys right here, because this is my village. These are the men who motivated me, who speak to me, who have spoken to me, who have been solid no matter.
So I love how you queued that up. That made me view it differently again. That made me listen to it from a even more aware perspective, like a Lifetime Achievement Awards, an award you're getting for the body of work you've done for your life. And he said that he's been in this industry over 30-something years.
Since the age of 8.
Right. And he's 40-something now? I think he's early 40s. And this is the conversation you have. To me, that says it's very important, because you know that a lot of the world is watching, and you know you have the ear of a lot of the world. So what am I going to say when I have the world's ear? And he chose to speak about fatherhood. He chose to speak about the year of the father. One thing that he said, and a friend of mine who was watching, a Black woman, and it was a great conversation. So please don't anybody take me wrong. when you're hearing this. She was like, it was very interesting that his mother was there with him. His mother, his Black mother, has been there his entire life. They even said when they were giving the awards, L.A. Reid and Babyface, one of them said that she became the first mom manager. So she was like the original, the pioneer. And my friend said it was very interesting that he spoke about his father and the lack thereof, and started even with that space when his mother was there for his entire life. And we talked a bit about it. And I heard what she said. She was really saying that's a lot of weight that a father carries. And there's a huge void in somebody's life. If a parent has been there the entire time, but yet you choose, as you stated, Rod, a lifetime achievement award point in your life to be able to have the ear of a lot of people and to talk about your father's whole in your life, and to talk about the importance of you being a father and other Black men being fathers. This is powerful. A lot to unpack here.
Listen, I'm gonna add another layer. So think about this. You're being celebrated. For all intents and purposes, this should be a joyous occasion, right? However, in the midst of that joy, you can tell there's an emotional, when I reflect on my life, there is still a missing piece. This physical award is great. Thousands of people praising me is great. There is still nothing that I wouldn't have rather than my mother and my father, right? Because the part that we don't play in the clip, and I'm going to read it. I was trying to make sense of this name that a man gave me that didn't stick around because he didn't love me. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. So our listeners are going to focus on man who didn't stick around. I'm going to focus on, I'm trying to make sense of this.
Yes.
Right. So this is the reflection piece Usher's going through. So this tells me there's things that he's going through in his own journey as a father. And even though I'm being recognized for my life's work, for me, being a father is the true essence of my life's work. And then he continues to say, or at least that was my perception of it.
Yeah.
Right. So this tells me there's stages of development for young boys. Let's say stages for young children, but Usher is the boy. But just let me go through this, Los.
Yep.
Because I had to live long enough in order to understand that you have to have a forgiving heart. In order to understand that the true pitfalls and hardships of a Black man in America. We did a whole show where you said, right, what hurts you?
That was a heavy statement.
And so as you're watching this award, you start realizing it doesn't matter how high you get. A father is a necessity for life. He is essential to your life, right? And then he continues to say, and my father, he was a product of the pitfalls and this is why we're doing the show, Los. When I saw this, I saw so much. This is why we're doing the show, because we're coming through conversation. We'll never talk bad about Black women. That's not what we do as Black men.
Right.
We will never give you answers because we will not play the role of God. But we will talk authentically, unfiltered, so you understand how we see the world, us two, and how we are trying to be better fathers every day and speak to the challenges, the hurt, the pain, so that someone may find their voice in our conversation and add to the conversation. So there's more to this, but I want to hear from you.
Man, I love how he phrased it from the part you just read. And if you heard your speech, also, he didn't go into dogging his father out, especially in that space. He was saying, I understand. I see my father in a different light. He said, when I grew up, I was trying to make sense of it. He started off by saying, of this man that gave me this name and wasn't around for me and wasn't there for me because he didn't love me. And he even said, so I thought. So there was a point in his life that he was saying, my father wasn't around because he loved me. He grew up. And I believe the essence of what I got from what he was saying also was, I'm not excusing my dad, right? I'm not excusing him, but I do see it differently now. Me and my brothers have had that conversation. I can't tell you how many times that now that we are adult men with children, Black fathers, we look at our father differently. Not excusing any bad behavior, but you see it just like he said, yo, this world is hard on Black men. And my father was subject to this world being hard on a Black man. And I'm not going to excuse any of the behavior that may not have been right or him not being in my life, but I am going to sit here and say, I get it. I get it. I'm going through the way the world does what the world does as a Black man, and I get it.
I'm glad you said that, right? Because I was about to add a layer on it. And if I hit something, say amen or ouch, up to you.
Yes, sir. What's up? We are Black Dad Unfiltered. We are here to change the narrative through authentic conversation for Black men, and particularly Black fathers. We thank you for joining us here on this episode. Please like the channel, subscribe to the channel, send a comment to the channel. Let us know the information that you like. Let us know what's speaking towards you. We'll be sure to stay in touch with you as well. Thank you.
The world is recognizing that your life is great, that you have achieved something that has impacted this world.
Yes.
Why does he say, I recognize the hardships and pitfalls of Black men? This is where we say, Usher being a mega star, he's not excused from the hardships and pitfalls of being a black man.
Being a Black man. Do you remember what's the State of the Union, I believe, where Dick Gregory was on there? Tavis Smiley, I believe. Yeah, it was Tavis Smiley. He used to have these panels, discussions of different Black people. And I remember he had Dick Gregory on there, and Dick Gregory was going in. And he said something, they were talking about being a Black man or being a Black person in America. And just like you said that Usher is not excused, he said, you can't say nothing to me if you don't understand what it feels like when the sirens go on behind you in a police car and you grip that steering wheel so tight, knowing you ain't done nothing wrong, but deep down inside you saying, please, God, don't let them pull me over. I'm like, Dick Gregory on the left. He wasn't saying before fame. He was saying in the height of fame, I still experience the world as a Black man. Whew. Yeah.
Listen, now this is where we're going with this, right? And this is why I love what we do, right? And I'm not trying to promote what we do. It's because we are looking at these things from different perspectives.
Most definitely.
Different perspectives. So let's continue. Can I continue reading on with this,
yes,
with this speech? Because I had to print it out.
Yeah, I want to talk about the deep work a little bit. I'm going to quote my guy, KD Bo, from their podcast, but go ahead.
Okay. So he continues to say, but that's part of the reason why I saw this as the year of the father. And if you continue read his speech, you realize he's going through this phase of him trying to become a better father, which tells me again, fame and fortune don't mean nothing when it comes to being a father.
That's good.
Right? It's practice, reflection, growth. Practice, reflection, growth. Because you can hear it. It's embedded through all he says. He even looked at, I think, his ex-wife and said, I'm trying. I'm taking the first step. This is a man that's being recognized for his body of work and his contribution to society. And in this moment, in this 12-minute speech, he is saying, I am still trying to figure this out. Come on. There's no such thing as a perfect father.
It's not. And like you said, fame doesn't mean that comes with it. Our last episode, we talked about LeBron. And LeBron said in his commercial, when he first had his Black son, he said, I was afraid. I didn't know how to handle it.
Come on.
I think sometimes we see people in different limelights and we have this underlying assumption that, they don't have any issues. They got money. They got fame. No, he's still struggling in some areas of fatherhood because, and I want to go on and say this, were you still reading?
I'll come back to this. This paper ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
We on the show. We don't got to stop.
Let's do it. KD Bo, his good friend of mine, and he has a podcast called The Certified Man. And they brought in their therapist. It's him and another gentleman who do the podcast. and they brought in their own therapist, like their personal therapist that they both sit down with individually. And he made a statement that leans toward what you're talking about with Usher. KD said on his show, I'm ready to do the deep work. He said that to his therapist. But when he's interviewing his therapist, he's saying, I don't even know if I knew what I was saying or if I knew I was ready for that. But the therapist did go on to say within this clip of this conversation that, yeah, you do have to be ready for this work. But when you're ready for this work, you stop asking the question of what's wrong with you, and you start asking the question of what happened to you.
So, Los, and I want you to continue, but I want to say this, because this is what my passion behind the show is. We have to do this work. And this conversation is hopefully helping people get ready to do the work, because the work is still needed, right? As a Black man, and we're looking at this from the emotional perspective, the being, right? I'm not gonna say it's easy, but getting up and going to work 12-hour shifts is physically hard. I get it. But that's not all encompassing. There's more to being a father. And this is why us as men, that when you see us, you see Black men. The work has to be done. And we're both working on the work. And it's not easy, but the fruits of your labor, that tree will bear good fruit. And that is your children, their children's children, and your whole family dynamic will change in the midst of any storm. But go ahead, let's continue with what you were saying.
Well, I'll say this, man, just right in this space, it's just really on my heart for somebody listening to this, somebody watching this. You thought of somebody who needs to hear this, like real talk. You thought of, man, I need to do this work, but I know somebody's watching this thinking, I know my brother needs to do this work. I know my father does. I know my friend does. They need to hear this episode, because the way they're speaking to you, those men that are popping into your mind, they're popping into your mind for a reason. And this is not just a plug, man. This is genuinely why we are doing this. Please share this out to somebody so we can help to cause a conversation, that we can help to get somebody into that space to want to do this work, because it's not going to happen by itself. That's the one thing. It's not going to happen by itself. It has to be done. So I would say, man, share it out to that person or to those people who you believe that were laid upon your heart that need to hear this message. The saying is, when the student is ready, the teacher will show up. And so I come back to that to say, somebody who is watching and you're saying to yourself, I do think I'm ready to do this work, but I don't know what to do. I don't know what the next step is. Again, when the student is ready, the teacher will show up. Going to therapy is a great thing. Having an awareness is a great thing. Pulling from what we just said in the clip that I just pulled from is literally my friend KD talking to his therapist and him saying to himself, I need to do some work, and I'm ready to do not just surface work. I'm ready to do the deep work. I'm ready to do the work of finding out, why do I behave the way that I behave? I'm ready to find out what happened to me as a child. I'm ready to dig into different traumas. For me personally, Unfiltered, when I started to go to therapy, I started to unfold the different layers of trauma that I went through as a child that I never saw as trauma. I didn't see them in the moment. And even in my young adult age, I never saw it. But then I started looking at myself as this little boy who my parents separated when I was young. I remember when they sat us down and they asked each and every one of us who we wanted to go live with. I remember my two older brothers saying that they wanted to go live with my mom. And I remember me saying, I was about 4 or 5, I want to go live with mom too, because that's where my brothers are going, right? In that moment, Rod, while I was going through therapy later on, I saw myself as a child make a subconscious decision of, I don't need much love because I don't want to put more of a burden on my mother. So while I was growing up with my mom by herself, she was raising 4 boys in the inner city. I'm like, my mom has enough going on. Let me not be a problem that she needs to do more than she can handle. Let me help her by not needing much. And that started to shape me as a young adult and as an adult, even into my failed marriage. Part of my responsibility, unfiltered, was I created an atmosphere that I didn't need things that I actually needed. But I made it look like or feel like I don't need these things. And when I started doing some of that deep work, Rod, I started seeing the little boy who made a decision, and it started to shape the man that I am now doing the work to correct this trauma that I went through that I would have never seen had I not started to do some work on myself. And
listen, one, I appreciate you sharing that because that's real. And while you were talking, I identified with it, right? Because we said it before in shows, we're always trying to fill gaps and voids from our youth, whether we know them or didn't know them.
Say that one more time.
We're always trying to fill gaps from our youth, right? Whether we know it or not, right? A lot of decisions you make now subconsciously are rooted in something that happened earlier.
Yes.
Right. And so there's if we can get a little bit more technical, and I'm going to try and make the connection. So we went to high school, psychology, you learn Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I may have mentioned this on another show. So there's a theory in Maslow's hierarchy of needs called progression theory. So you start off at the baseline, which is your physiological needs, right? Shelter, food, water, basic human needs, right?
Right.
And once those needs are met, and remember, this is going to go somewhere. Once those needs are met, you automatically progress to the next need. So the minute you have food, shelter, it's like, okay, now I need a job, right? I need a job that pays me security. So I have a job, but I need a job that pays me a little bit more security, that gives me benefits, right? These are almost like your safety needs, right? So you go from physiological to some level of security, right? That's the next level. I think it's called safety needs, if I remember correctly. And you're progressing. So your life is progressing towards this. Now, there's 5 levels. The third level is what we call love needs, right? And I'm going somewhere with this, so just hear me out, because I want you to pay attention to the progression, right? So you automatically, so as you get certain things, you progress. But the minute you lose anything below, your body automatically drops. It's regression, right?
Right.
So what I'm saying and trying to make a very weird connection is, it doesn't matter how far you get. If there's a hole, your body's still going to kind of almost counterintuitively work towards filling that void in your life. This is why as Black men, we can look fine. We can think we're fine. But if you ever get into a point where you can reflect and ask yourself, why am I making this decision? Why am I choosing this mate? Why am I acting this way with my children? Why am I taking this at my job? If you can do that work, you can unlock, one, a lot of the burden. You can begin to heal. And with healing comes empowerment. With healing comes a different perception. With healing comes a different perspective. And perspective is more powerful than perception. But I'm going to stop right there because you're going to take me back to my days.
Listen, I will say this. For those who are listening, how many times have you heard a man, have you heard your loved one? Women, how many times have you heard your loved one, your man, your spouse, your brother, your father say, I'm fine, I'm good? We know, you and I know, when men say that, you gave an excellent visualization of when men say that they're good, that they're not good. Because either they know something is missing, or even worse, maybe you haven't done the work and you don't know something is missing, but you do know you're not good. But most men, and we talked about this in one of our episodes before, a lot of men, I won't say most, but a lot of men don't want to show their vulnerability as weakness. So they automatically say, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm not struggling in this area. And when we're saying I'm good, we're not.
The hardships of being, and I want to pronounce it again, the hardships of being a Black man dictate, because there is no safety, there is no rescue. I'm fine. I have no choice but to be fine. Let me go back and read some more of this, Los, if you will.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Right. Because I want to continue, because he goes on, right? He says it's the year of the Black father, where we all got to stand up for their sons, their daughters, and be the man that we need them to be. But this is the part that I love, because this is going to tie into what we were saying.
Yeah.
They say success has a million fathers. Well, I'll start with these guys right here. This is my village. These are the men who motivated me, who speak to me, who have spoken to me, who have been solid no matter how expletive it may have been.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me when I say what I'm going to say next, if you saw this way. This told me no matter who we are going to look for a Black father figure in our life. That's what I read. We're going by default. What you mentioned earlier, your grandfather.
Yes.
We will look to see if we can find an uncle. We will look to see if we can find someone we can call brother, or we're going to look for a gang to join. But we're going to look for male figures in our life. To me, and I wish I had the studies, I feel like it's almost psychological. We need male, as a Black man, as a Black son, you need male figures in your life that can guide you, and hopefully they're the right ones. But go ahead.
Yo, when he said that, I love the statement for sure. It's like success has a million fathers. I love that. I had a conversation with my brother not even 2-3 weeks ago. We were sitting on the porch, and my brother was saying to me, our father has died, right? Our father died a long time ago. My brother was saying, yo, Los, man, I'm looking for an older Black man to pour into me. I'm looking for it. I'm looking for an older Black man that I could pull from and ask some questions to him. We were having this conversation on the porch, and one of the things that I was able to share, thank God that I've come to see this, but I'm still looking as well, right? Don't get it confused. I have not got to the point where, oh yeah, I've solved that. No, because I think it's ongoing. One thing I was able to share with him that I found in looking for a Black male, like you stated, I have found that you don't usually find it all in one person. Say if you don't have your father. And so I said, I won't say my brother's name, I'm gonna keep him nameless. I said to my brother, so don't look for it to be all in one. You may find it in pieces. You may find it some in this man. You may find a great quality in this one. You may find another great quality in this one, but you'll be able to make up the different pieces by having conversations with different Black men. And for me, older Black men, it is a strong desire for me. So when you said what you heard when you read that, it is a very strong desire for me to talk to Black men with gray hair. Like that is a thing for me, because I love to hear from somebody who's lived this life as a Black man and who's experienced things that I've never experienced and can speak into me from that experience. I know I do. I know I look for it. And so, yeah, to answer your question, when he said that, I do believe that either we're searching for it knowingly or unknowingly, and we're just walking around with a void.
Okay. Now I'm going to flip the coin for you.
All right,
there's two parts to this.
Let's go.
Success has a million Black fathers, right?
Yeah.
This tells me it is Carlos V. Spencer's responsibility, Coach Rod's responsibility to be the fathers for those who don't have them.
I didn't see you going there.
That is our responsibility. Yeah. So it's not just your children. It's you have to become a father figure to any kid, regardless of color, that you can have a positive impact on. Right? So it's not just saying that, for me, it's not just, okay, I have this void, but it is also, I have the gray beard. So when my son's friends come around, I'll take 2 minutes to say, how's it going? How's practice? I see you working hard. How's school going? Did you think about this? Because it is my responsibility, especially in my community. And this is another show we can do, but this is what I feel with a great deal of passion. It is my responsibility to pour into as many young people as I can, because this is how we change the narrative and this is how we create positive impact. Because I don't know who has the void, but I know I have the gift and the talent. And it ain't meant for me to hoard it.
You know, that's when I had my first child, and I only had one son for a long time, I would
for a
often
year,
use.
Los. Stop this. You had one son for a year. That's not a long time.
I had daughters after that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I'm like, man, stop it.
He said, "Well, cap. Stop the cap."
You know what I'm saying? Every year you were popping out kids.
For 1 year, for a long time. I had one son, and so for a long time, I would say to God, just in my own silent time, like, I feel like you're creating me to be more of a father than to just one son. And I now have 3 sons. But even to go along with your statement, yes, there are young people and other people who don't have a father figure. There are people who it's not common at all for them to have access to somebody that they can talk to and have a conversation with. So I like what you're saying. I like what you're saying, even as you're speaking it, not just to you and I, but to our listeners, that, okay, search for it, but also be it. Right. And I've said this before in other settings about other things, but it so fits here in this conversation that if you knew, say, for instance, if somebody left you a will, somebody left you a trust, and you know how good it would have felt, right, to receive this at age 21, age 25, or if they did something for you and you know how that would have felt, but nobody did it for you. And let's say for this, you didn't have a father or many father figures to speak into you, but you know what it would have felt like. Why not do the next best thing and give that to somebody else? Because you know what it would feel like for you. So then you can do that for your own son. I'll say this, and this may be a stretch. I don't think it's a stretch. I've had some experiences with my own son that I never had the experience with my father. But in some strange way, I get the experience back by doing it with my son. What does that look like? I took my son fishing. I never got a chance to go fishing with my father. But I got the feeling of fishing with my father by giving that back to my son. So I do believe that when you show up for other people, you can kind of get that thing and that experience back for yourself. But most importantly, man, I think you said it very, very wise and powerfully. Be that for somebody else. And I'm going to take that on myself. I heard what you said, and I'm going to purposely and intentionally after this episode make sure that I'm paying attention to see who I can help and who I could step in and fill a gap for.
So you said, oh, man, I wish I can press rewind. You said, if you know what it would have felt like if you had it, basically there's power in giving it now. And I think that's what this speech from Usher was about.
Yes.
I know what it felt like not to have it.
Yes.
Now I'm going to create a charge, right? So there's more I want to read from this. So we're going to go a little bit longer with this show, Los, and I'm not asking for permission. I'm going to ask for forgiveness.
All right.
Right? Because, again, there's highlights to this. And then I want to quiz you. I'm just at the end of the show, we're going to quiz you for 5 minutes. He says, actually, I'm going to flip over here. He says, good is more than just a song. So remember, this whole speech is 12 minutes. We only played a minute clip for you.
Right.
I'm trying to turn a new leaf. Remember, I started off the show by saying there's a reflection period in his life. No matter how good it was, he's still taking time to reflect. We got to be cool for the sake of the kids. Right? So this speaks to the shows we got about parenting and co-parenting coming up.
And just a song, if you haven't heard, was it "We Ain't Good, but We Still Good"?
So okay, I'm drawing the line at this. Okay, pick and choose. Either you're gonna sing or you're gonna give me grandfather quotes, but you ain't gonna do both on this. You ain't gonna do both. You're not gonna show me up like this. Okay, you're gonna end up saying "ouch." I'm just gonna tell you right now. You know what I'm saying? But he's also looking, and this is the part where you talked about. He's looking at other people's marriages and seeing how they're figuring out to make it work. And he's seeing that being a black man, being a black father is beyond the success. There's work that has to be done for the sake of the children. Now, the part that I'm going to talk about, which I love, because I'm going to go back to the fact, and this show, we spoke a lot about black men, but I believe a lot of black women are hearing this. A lot of women are hearing this. And hopefully we're creating empathy and understanding, because it's not excluding black women, because black women are very powerful. Because he says this, but I need people to understand this. I did that because my mother. But I made something of it, right? That's what he says.
Yep.
I did that because my mother, she subbed in two ways.
Mm-hmm.
She was a mother and a father at the same time. This is the power of a Black woman in America.
Yeah.
That in and of itself is a powerful statement. But the part that I honed in on, the
Yeah.
part that I focused on was he didn't say she was just a mother. No matter what, a boy, a man will recognize that there's a need for a father. So this woman played two roles, which means the role of a father, just because a father's not there, the role of it does not disappear. It is a necessity.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It is a necessity. And I want to commend our women. I don't like when we say Black women are strong. I don't want Black women to have to be strong. But golly, am I proud of the ones that still step up and are strong. Mm-hmm. And I hope we create an environment where they don't have to be strong. Yeah. But let's not mix words, because he says it. She played two roles.
Yeah.
So no matter who you are listening, whether you are a son and you think you're okay, you still need your father. Mm-hmm. Whether you are a single mother and you think you got it all taken care of, he or she still needs that Black father. Mm-hmm. And if you are a man, understand they still need you. And you still got to show up, and you still got to grow, and you still got to practice being better at it every day. I tell you, I ask my kids, did we get better today? And I always ask myself, was I a better father today? And that doesn't mean them being happy. Mm-hmm. But so anyway, I'm gonna hand it over to you.
I got to do it. I'm sorry, right? Because you put up the lyric. You started the lyric, and I got to talk about the song, about what he was saying in it.
Just say it, though. Don't sing it.
Not a little piece?
No.
Hey, they didn't make it to forever. Probably ain't getting back together. I'll leave it there. Mm-hmm. But I got to say that part. I did sing it.
Nice like this. I wish raindrops would fall.
But when he said that statement, the song Good says we didn't make it to forever. We're probably not getting back together. And he made that statement saying, I wrote this song because I was saying we aren't getting back together, but there's more than us getting back together, especially if we have children together. And that's when he did reference like you said, he actually took a step forward. So I'm taking the first step. He said, I'm trying. And you could hear him saying that statement. He was saying, I ain't getting it perfect. I know, but I'm trying. And so by not being good or good with the spouse, the ex, or the other parent, it doesn't mean that we can't be good. Like the lyric says, we ain't good, but we still good because we got these children together. So when he was saying that part about the song, he was also saying, hey, let's do what we need for these children, which goes with your point of, because if the father is not in the home or the mother's not in the home, it doesn't mean that you don't need to be present in your child's life. It doesn't mean that they don't need you. That need is not going to go away. So you need to fulfill it. And if one parent, and we love our Black women, like you said, I had a Black mama who raised me by herself, and she did a lot of things filling in both roles, but you still need that other role. You still need that other figure. So I love that call. I love that part of the speech. I love what he was saying. And I could hear in my heart what he was saying was, he even mentioned, like you said, my mom was there playing both roles, but then he went to say, but I didn't have my father to say, you okay, son? I didn't have my father to say, okay, you're going to go through heartbreak. I didn't have my father to say, okay, this is how you're going to deal with this part of your life. He still said, even though my mother showed up as mother and father, I still had this missing piece in my life. So we need to be good at the best that we can for our children. Right? Our children need us to show up. So I think that's powerful. I think that's powerful. And there was so much to unpack in this thing.
I got one question for you, then I'm done. Right? If you were to speak to our female audience, to the single mothers in this audience, to single mothers or single fathers, right? Because from the age of 19, which is a critical point, because now you're in college, you're in the world, what's one thing you felt that you were missing from a emotional perspective? I know you mentioned before that your father would have helped with the scholarship, but what's one thing you would want someone who's listening to be aware of? I was missing at this age because I didn't have my father. What's one thing you think you can share? And then from there, we can go into wrapping up the show.
Yeah, for me, it goes into that space of when I was talking on this episode of Unpacking That Trauma, of having a man, a Black man, to tell me, hey, son, it's okay to feel this way. Hey, son, it's okay to feel. Hey, son, there are more emotions than just anger. If I had a man to be able to show me and model the emotions of a man, I would have been better at that age. And I'm not saying the emotions of the man that it has to just be the emotions that maybe we don't see, but just seeing them from a man. Me and my brothers often say we were raised by a woman and we were raised by a lot of strong Black women. No discredit, but we learned how to be men for the most part watching women. And so for me, I needed at that stage of my life to see a man operating as a man.
What would have been the difference then? What would have been I hate to do this, but
no, I like it. Come on.
What would have been the difference then? Like, what do you think would have been the difference that you would have seen? Because you were raised, you learn how to be a man by watching women feed into you as a human being. But what is the difference that you think that seeing it from a man, like, what is that? If you can put that into words.
For me, it's showing up with more of a dominant presence. Showing up with more authority, but not an authority that's abusive, right? Not an authority that's running over somebody or doing somebody wrong, but showing up as a man.
The masculine you're talking about. Being able to be comfortable in the masculine presence that you're called to. Okay, I get it. I get it.
Very comfortable in that space, moving that wasn't even a thought for me at that age. Wow. I was, doing what I did in sports and in school, but that wasn't a thought for me to show up like that because I didn't see that.
You know what you said, and maybe we can talk about this in the future. What I got from you was being comfortable operating in this. Knowing that it's okay. Wow, that's deep. Los, yeah. I think we did a lot, folks. I think we did a lot on the show, Los. And again, if you heard something, folks, please click subscribe, like, comment, share the show with someone. We're not trying to take this opportunity to promote, but we believe in what we're talking about. And we just want to build a community that empowers men, that empowers the people that are impacted by men, and really brings to the forefront the real narrative about Black fathers. I know we say change the narrative, but we want to bring the real narrative and no longer let the media control our narrative.
Yeah, I think people can sense the authenticity in us. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, somebody's watching this and they know a man that they could send this to that is going to be helpful. I definitely feel like that. So when we're talking about for people to share it, to like, to comment, it's not like, oh, just push it. Somebody's watching this like, yo, I need to send this to this person. I need to send this to this person as well. And we appreciate you all doing that because now you've helped us to reach somebody else that we weren't able to connect with without you. We appreciate that. Listen, we wrapping up again. Black Dad Unfiltered. This has been a dope show. I've learned, I don't know about where I say it, but I'm going to go watch this one again myself. I'm going to go get some more information, learn some more. We appreciate you all for watching and for listening in. We've been here with you yet another week. We're Black Dad Unfiltered. I'm Carlos B. Spencer.
And I'm Coach Rod. You can hear us on all listening platforms, Spotify, YouTube Music, Amazon. And when you hear it, just remember our keywords. Let's go, let's grow, let's get it.
Let's go.